Welcome to the Pirates vs. Werewolves podcast. Buckle up for another pirate raid, but this time into the thrilling world of flash fiction.
We've got two wild tales lined up.
Yeah, a detective with a furry little secret and a lone wolf with, well, let's just say a bite you don't want to get on the wrong end of. You guys shared these flash fiction stories with us, and we're ready to unpack all the action, all the twists, just for you.
So, ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's kick things off with Midnight Shift. Picture this. Detective Nick Thorne, he's working in a special precinct, but here's the kicker. Nick, he's a werewolf himself. Think about that for a second.
A werewolf, a detective.
Right. It makes you wonder about the kind of world we're dealing with in this story, right?
It really flips the script on how we usually think about monsters, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The werewolf's the good guy here. He's the one upholding the law.
Exactly. It makes you question who the real monsters are. And the cases Nick handles, they're not your everyday stuff either. We're talking vampire tax evasion.
Vampire tax evasion? Come on.
I know, right? Like, do they have undead accountants too? Then there's gremlin tech sabotage, demonic deals gone wrong, werewolves battling wolfsbane cocktail addiction.
Wow, sounds like a wild precinct.
It really paints this picture of a supernatural society, but with very human problems. What do you think? How integrated is this world with our own?
Well, it's not just creatures lurking in the shadows. It sounds like they're woven into the fabric of society, dealing with their own versions of everyday issues, which makes this changeling case even more disturbing.
Right, the changeling case. Kids are being kidnapped and replaced, not for ransom, just replaced. No motive, just this old, dark magic at play. What does that say to you, that lack of a clear reason? Why do you think the author did that?
It's unsettling, right? Creates a sense of unease, like a threat we can't really understand or negotiate with. The stakes are higher than just your average crime.
Absolutely. So Nick, he starts digging, and his investigation leads him to this place called the Whisper Market, a hidden supernatural bazaar. Imagine a black market for all things magical,
Sounds like a dangerous place.
Oh, it is. And it's here that he corners a goblin peddler for, let's call it, enhanced interrogation in a dark, rain-soaked alley.
Enhanced interrogation. Knowing Nick, I bet that gets pretty intense.
Yeah, and it's through this that he uncovers a huge conspiracy. It turns out there's this ancient ritual planned for the full moon involving child sacrifice, the goal. To merge magic with the everyday world, make monsters the norm. Imagine that. What do you think that world would look like?
Scary. I mean, where would the lines between human and monster even be? Would there be any lines? It's like our whole understanding of reality gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, pretty bleak picture. But thankfully, Nick's not alone in this fight. He's got some interesting allies. We've got Millie, a coffee-addicted necromancer.
No, a necromancer who's hooked on coffee.
Yeah, and she uses spell grenades, too. Then there's his partner, completely unfazed by the whole werewolf thing. Talk about loyalty, huh?
So real. In this world, your partner revealing they're a werewolf is probably just another Tuesday.
Right. It shows that even in the face of all this weirdness, these bonds, these friendships, they still matter. But things get really real during the confrontation, which takes place, of course, in an abandoned skyscraper-turned-temple under the full moon. Nick can feel the change coming, but this time, he's going to use it. What do you think that says about Nick's journey?
It's like he's taking ownership of his curse, Instead of being afraid of it, he's turning it into a weapon to protect others. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And the fight, oh man, it's total chaos. Nick, he's described as this force of nature. Millie's causing spectral mayhem with her magic, and his partner's right there with him, shotgun blazing. What does that tell you about how to fight a threat like this?
Brute force is one thing, but you also need strategy, right? Different skills working together to take the enemy down.
Exactly. Teamwork makes the dream work, even when fighting ancient magical evil. But amidst all the chaos, there's this really touching moment. Nick, he reaches the altar and rescues the child using, get this, a wordless lullaby from his pack.
A lullaby from a werewolf.
Yeah, it's not what you'd expect, right? It shows that there's more to them than just fangs and fur. There's a culture, a history, even tenderness.
I like that.
Then the cult leader, boom, transforms into this antlered creature, and it's a brutal showdown, like a blurring of man and monster.
What do you think the author's trying to say with these transformations?
It's like they're both wrestling with their inner demons, literally. Both Nick and the cult leader have this duality, this human side and this monstrous side. It makes you think about where the line truly lies.
And the aftermath. The skyscraper is filled with this strange energy. Millie's chanting like a worried mom. And Nick, exhausted but human again, is helped to his feet by his partner.
What feeling does that leave you with?
I don't know, a sense of relief, but also a feeling that this isn't over. The supernatural world is still out there.
Right, like it's just another night on the job for Nick. So what's the big takeaway from Midnight Shift?
I think it's that sometimes the things we fear, the things that go bump in the night, might actually be the ones protecting us in ways we never imagined.
Makes you think, huh? It does. But now, let's shift gears, move on to our second flash fiction story, Pack of One. This one's about Kayla, a lone werewolf who's chosen to separate from her pack. What strikes you about Kayla right off the bat?
She's alone. That says something right. Like she's carrying something heavy, something that makes her dangerous, maybe even to her own kind.
And that something is her bite. Turns out it creates a psychic link with her victims, an unwanted merging of minds. Imagine that, all their thoughts, memories, fears flooding into you. How do you think that would affect someone?
That would be terrifying. It's like losing your sense of self, your privacy, everything. It's a nightmare scenario.
Totally. And it happens by accident. Kayla's in the forest. A twig snaps, triggers her instincts, and she attacks a human. The regret is instant. What does that tell us about Kayla's struggle?
She's fighting her own nature. She knows what she's capable of, and she's trying to control it, but sometimes the wolf takes over.
And imagine the fear of her pack finding out. She's terrified of being exiled, or worse. What does that tell us about werewolf society?
Even among werewolves, there's fear of the unknown, of what's different. It's like any society. There are rules, expectations, and those who don't fit in can be ostracized.
So now she's got this awful choice. Keep the man alive and risk a complete mental merging, or, well, the alternative is unthinkable. What a dilemma, right?
It's heartbreaking, really. She's trying to do the right thing, but every moment she's losing a little more of herself.
Desperate, she runs, just tries to get as far away as possible, hoping maybe distance will help. What does that say about how terrifying her ability is?
It shows how desperate she is. There's no escaping this connection. Not really. It's in her mind, wherever she goes.
But the damage is done. Now there's a voice in her head getting stronger as the man wakes up. What's the scariest part of this for Kayla?
The loss of control. Her thoughts, her memories, everything is open to him now. There's no hiding, no secrets. It's a total violation.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. And the story ends with her on the run, not just for survival, but to find a cure, a way to break this connection. How did that ending make you feel?
I felt for her, trapped in this nightmare, constantly looking over her shoulder, searching for an answer that might not even exist.
So we've got these two very different pirate raids into the world of werewolves. In Midnight Shift, we've got a hero, a protector. In Pack of One, we've got a victim of circumstance, struggling with a terrifying ability. What stands out to you about how these two flash fiction stories approach werewolves?
They're both challenging our expectations, right? The werewolf isn't always the monster. Sometimes they're the hero, sometimes they're the victim. It's a good reminder that things aren't always black and white.
Exactly. It makes you think, in a world where these creatures exist, what does it mean to be human? Is it our physical form, our actions, or something deeper? And what about those with abilities beyond our understanding? What burdens do they carry?
It's a question worth thinking about. We often fear what we don't understand. These stories invite us to look a little closer, to see the complexity, the humanity, even in the monstrous.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for joining us on this pirate raid into the world of flash fiction. We hope these werewolf tales got your imaginations running wild. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to rate and follow the Pirates vs. Werewolves podcast for more captivating stories and discussions. We'll be back soon with another thrilling pirate raid.